Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. So my talk will be why I think that prediction markets could be the fabric for human AI collaboration. Little bit of a disclaimer: I am not working on this problem. My day job is I'm product manager at BrainBot for Shadow Network, which is a threshold encryption scheme for encrypted mempools against front running and censorship. So not really directly related. I mean, we've talked a little bit about there could actually be front running issues within this topic, but it's just a different problem. But yeah, I'm just personally excited about, and I have some stupid ideas. Some use cases. So that's what the talk is going to be about. Just trying to talk about these ideas and trying to get people more excited. Why do I think it's exciting? Because I think ultimately crypto can set AI free. So basically, crypto can be the uh, the world in which the autonomous AI lives in, basically. So contrary to yeah, so it the cool thing would be it wouldn't have to be owned by a human. It could actually own itself. I think that would be super interesting. And then it's basically something ultimately it would be the closest thing I think we can do right now to create a real sort of synthetic life. So I mean that as a overarching thing, why is this super exciting to me, and also maybe dangerous or yeah. Um, I'm looking at this from two different sort of problem solution sets. Um, so for the one a way to look at it is there's this grand vision about prediction markets and futarchy, with which I think is amazing, and I feel like if we can make this reality, it would be very exciting. And I think there's not enough time in this talk to talk about why, but yeah, it is a really cool vision. It was previously too expensive because you need humans to create and trade on these markets, and the UX just isn't that good of doing so, especially for like normal people. So and the one thesis or the solution would be simple, saying okay, AI can solve the problem of UX and solve the problem of trading, so that sort of AI is the enabler for prediction markets. The other way to think about it, I think, is also is more interesting potentially, is um, the problem set. The problem is that human and AI can't really collaborate well right now. It's not really clear how they collaborate exactly, especially around incentives. So um, humans aren't incentivized to provide information, and vice versa. So I feel like then the solution is meshing markets with AI, right? You kind of creating this marketplace around providing information for AI or training. I think there's been lots of discussion around this as well. But then the problem with traditional markets is they're slow and static, and they provide only a certain type of information um, to the AI. So that's why I'm thinking prediction markets are interesting, because yeah, they're the opposite. They're less static. They can be very specific. They can provide very specific, interesting information. Yeah. So then the overarching solution is meshing prediction markets with AI. That's sort of the overarching topic of it for it. And then I just created some stupid examples or ideas, right? How this could look like. One is the AI prediction market strategic advisor. So your um, think about your ChatGPT. You could ask it. In this case, it's you are the owner of a mid-sized coffee shop chain, and you're asking it whether to expand into online or physical stores. And let's say the AI doesn't really have enough information to do this, maybe because it's too specific or because it's too recent, or so then the interesting thing would be you type in real time, sort of it pops up these um, these real time prediction markets on three different kind of data points that it needs to gather uh, within seconds. So I purposely put this here in only very small intervals, seconds intervals, basically, where the other AIs or humans then start trading on these data points, and then that immediately gives the ChatGPT the input that it then needs to generate um, uh, solution, as a recommendation for this. So I find this super exciting. This idea of just typing in and in real time it creates these markets. Yeah, and I think something that could be built probably with your guys' tool set, the Valory, and yeah. The other one, something that just a small idea or just a small kind of part of it, where what if there was an AI investment assistant which asks you, kind of interviews you about your all your preferences, your views about the world, and then creates a portfolio from that, and then I feel like this could be already be done with stocks and derivatives to a large degree, but maybe like to 80%, right? But then you might have very specific ideas, or you might have things that you cannot replicate with the traditional markets. And then I feel like it would be super interesting from there then to create the remaining sort of exposure, create the remaining investment vision, create that again with prediction markets, and then all together represents your worldview in a financial sense, and then represents basically that's your input to the economy, and that's how you can then earn money based on, hopefully you have some knowledge that others don't have, or you have yeah, and that would be, to me, kind of an ultimate way of kind of passive investment, right? And then the third one is kind of a stupid idea, but I thought also like an potentially interesting thing, where the goal here is to have an AI fashion design process. So you could have someone sets the goal of saying, I want to sell a certain dress, and I want to generate max income for this dress next year. And then we could have an LLM create sort of design concept, but also uses generative AI to create the designs, and then opens prediction markets for this. So this could look like this, right? You just creates lots of markets in parallel, and people start trading on this, and so the price would be how much can it generate if it was actually made into a real dress, um, and then this could basically determine what should be the design, right? Um, uh, and then I feel like it would be even more interesting if you bring in this evolutionary or generational AI type of thinking, where you'd say, okay, maybe one of the markets is performing really well, and in that kind of latent image, or that idea could then be iterated upon, and be used as an input for another kind of generative AI process, which then opens another set of markets, and then again can trade on this. Yeah, and then basically it could be resolved first, just like a self-resolving prediction market, right? But it if people want to, or if people actually want to resolve it, they could use Reality.eth or Kleros to actually say, okay, I'm going to actually invest the amount of money to actually make the dress into production and then sell it. Yeah, and here's just there's just a stupid kind of way of showing it, in that yeah, the latent image of the one of the dresses can then be used here and made into another set of new. Yeah, so that's just a how it would look like in this node, in Comfy UI and this Stable Diffusion thing. Yeah. But yeah, kind of that was it. And yeah, again, sort of, I'm just a fan. Follow me on Twitter if you want to read more about stupid ideas like this, or follow the Shutter Twitter if you want to learn more about MEV and front running protection, essentially.
We have a couple of questions which I'll read out. I don't know if you can see some of these. Sandeep has maybe not a question so much, but more of like a rhetorical kind of comment on. So you have this proof of concept with these like designs, and you have a very good UX. But Sandeep is asking, what's the good UX without market depth?
Yeah, true. But I mean, that is where the AI can come in, right? That is where where previously it would have been too expensive to let humans actually trade on these markets, and then the hope would be the AI plus humans, or basically humans controlling AI, makes it much cheaper to create that market depth, because the autonomous agents are actually trading.
Yeah, I think we saw something sort of similar to that with our ideas with the autonomous ecosystem about the way we could maybe validate the usefulness of bits of code by not like, obviously we can have humans voting for what's useful, but you can also, if you have these autonomous AI agents, they're always working and they're more like agnostic if designed correctly. So that's really cool. So Oak has mentioned that last week you mentioned the idea of prediction markets as an intermediary between AI and humans, and he'd be interested if you could talk to that idea a little more.
Yeah, I mean, the examples that I showed, those I try to, that's basically the overarching topic, where I'm saying like that's the incentive layer between humans and AI, right? So for the simplest example would be this coffee shop example, right? Where the human creates, the AI creates a prediction market which incentivizes humans essentially to provide information to the AI, and then ultimately to the owner of the AI. But that's what I meant. That's one of the examples of there is kind of this intermediary or mesh between human and AI, and I feel like, so back then so one way to look at it would be it's an interface between human and AI, but I feel like that's not really the right word, because ultimately people don't even want to have the interface be a market, right? It's not really nice. Like, you don't want to trade, you want to sit there and trade all the time. So that's why I think the better way of putting it, it's this mesh between it, where the human uses an AI to interact with the market, and then that kind of processes information, and then another human also uses an AI and also interfaces via this market. So the market becomes the ultimate kind of connection point. But yeah.
Cool. So I have another question from Richard. I'll just throw this one up here. Richard says, oh, sorry, that's me. I missed. Richard says, have you thought about using prediction markets for creating an AI constitution or principles for a community-owned AI?
It's just super interesting, yeah. But I think I can't really speak to this, but sounds like a super interesting. So in that ethical topic, or I'm not really sure how exactly that's meant, but it sounds super interesting, yeah.
Here's another interesting comment from Evan Powell. For what it's worth, JokeDAO is getting increasingly used for collective sense making, similar to prediction market in a sense, where agents could contribute to that process.
Yeah, awesome, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we've got about a minute left. So if there's, so we already mentioned where viewers can connect with you. You are at Bezzenberger on Twitter, and Project Shutter is at project_Shutter. If people want to reach out to you about either what you presented or what Shutter is working on. Is there anything else you would want to add?
No, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and super excited for the tools and sort of frameworks that you guys are building that enable some of these ideas that I had. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for choosing to share, and also for bringing such an interesting and something that we haven't talked about yet. So it's really great to see. Cool. Thank you, Lee. So I'll take you down now, and